was against the God of War TV show.
Why?
Because I don't think they would do it justice.
I do.
Damn, bro. Hold on. Wait for me to get there. Because it took me some time to get to where you at. I had to go through my own little journey. I think after playing God of War, if we could get a God of War TV show produced in the way like a, not Breaking Bad, but like Game of Thrones or like with a real budget.
The Witcher?
Like The Witcher.
I like The Witcher. I just feel like there's too much unnecessary.
So that's the thing about TV shows that I didn't like. With God of War, I think that that's what would help it be better. Mm-hmm. So specifically, I'm talking about. I thought of this because as I was playing, I was like, "Yo, Kratos kind of looks like Jason Momoa." If you were to take away the hair, I don't think he would cut himself bald. But if you were to shave Jason Momoa,
he's done it before. I think he just recently cut his hair.
Really? To bald?
I wouldn't say bald, but like he cut it low. Like
really? I think Jason Momoa would play a great Kratos. God of War has all of these different pantheons of God. And Kratos evolves as a character from God of War 1, 2, 3 to Ragnarok and God of War 2018. We could follow, I know they already made comics on it, but I think that it would be interesting if we could follow Kratos in live action, adapted from the comics, the way manga is. There is a comic where Kratos lands in Egypt, or the land of the gods, which I'm going to assume is Egypt. And he's trying to get rid of the blades, and he's trying to get rid of all that. We could literally follow Kratos throughout that story arc, a younger Kratos just before he gets to Norse mythology, and really battle with him going through the consequences of what it's like to kill a bunch of gods and still live with that grief, that feeling of emptiness in your heart with your wife, your kid, all of that stuff. And that be the TV show. 8 episodes, maybe 12 episodes. And there's side stuff that go on in between that. But he'll meet people that'll probably inspire him to go and have a son. You know, he goes through this journey of him with the Blades of Chaos. You looking at me kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Why? What happened?
I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree. If I'm getting a God of War show, I would at least follow the second game. Not follow it down to a T. I want Kratos in Sparta.
Nah. See look, this is the way that I see it, right? It has to be stuff that we haven't seen already.
Nah.
Yeah, bro, because what's the incentive? When we play a video game, I think that's a big problem with video game movies. We already get the ultimate form of storytelling because we are the character. If you're going to follow Kratos, it needs to be before he was a servant of Ares. So all of that stuff that he did as a general and all of that, which it's interesting, but things don't really start to get interesting until he's like, Ares! Then there's the in-between, Norse mythology. So whatever stories you want to tell in between that, that's what you have, go.
I don't know. Me personally, don't give me a God of War show if he's not offering multiple gods throughout that show.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't see him beefing with the Egyptian pantheon.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want that. I would prefer if they kept it in Sparta.
Why?
Because that's what I want to see. I want to see
but why do you want to see that?
I want to see Kratos versus Zeus in live action.
But we already got Kratos versus Zeus interactive.
That's cool. I want to see it live action. That's like saying, why watch a comic book movie if we got comics?
Nah, it's not the same thing.
Why?
Because with video games, it's interactive. At the top of the hierarchy, it'll be interactive, which is video games. I think that you can, from video games, you can go down, but trying to go up becomes an issue. Does that make sense?
So you're saying, no, I'm going to have to disagree, because The Witcher started off as a book, turned into a game.
That's my point.
Now it's a TV show.
That's why I had to ask you about The Witcher, though, because I think that's really the only thing that worked. But my theory is that it was a book, and they turned it into a video game. Mm-hmm. They shot for the top of the hierarchy. They shot for the top. But they also could have just shot for a TV show to begin with, because that's what Game of Thrones did. Started off as writing. They shot for a TV show. But if you try to go from TV show to comic book, you can do that because you're shooting down. But if you try to go from...
I was about to say, plenty of movies got comic book tie-ins.
Maybe I'm just fucking up my own theory already.
Nah, you just got me here to challenge you.
Yeah, I think I'm my own theory, bro. Hey, wait. Don't click off. If you're still watching, that means you're still enjoying what you're watching, right? I'm guessing they're enjoying it.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So click that like button if you like what you're seeing, and also subscribe because we're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I'm going to say please. Pretty please.
Pretty please.
We're at 1.3K, so that would be great if you could bump us up there. All right, back to the show. No, it's weird. You can't just go from video game to movie because I was already the character. You can be within the world. Does that make sense? Like, you could play within the world of the video. So, Last of Us.
I was about to say, The Last of Us is getting a TV show.
We'll see how that plays out. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to be great just because it's already grounded.
I was about to say, I think it's going to be great because of Pedro.
Yeah, but that's my theory. My pitch is that with God of War, You follow him after Olympus.
Another reason I'm gonna say no is because if you're doing the TV show, the main idea is to also bring in new people. If you're trying to bring in new people, you can't start off with something in the middle of somebody's story. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, you can. That's why I think that this would be so great, because it could start off where people don't know his background. I think that they could lean into that. So it's like that whole idea of having to get rid of the blades.
So would you want it a tie-in, or would you prefer it be its own thing?
It's no. It ties in, but I'm thinking about it on a macro scale for like, okay, there's the video games and then there's whatever we get out of the TV show, right? Mm-hmm. The audience that doesn't know much about Kratos, people are going to talk about it. I have my whole thing about Game of Thrones and how I don't think it's that great of a TV show. I'm just going to be honest with you. I also don't, there's no way for me to also justify the writing, and then it's confirmed because when I hear people talk about the final season, it confirms what I was thinking. Because it's like, I don't think that the writing of Game of Thrones is that great, because I have to go out and do a bunch of research in order for me to appreciate it, in order for me to at least acknowledge the story.
I've said that same thing about Elden Ring, and people hated me.
Really? No, but I'm being honest, because it's like, you can't have a good story. Like, whatever you make, it has to be able to live in that own world. Mm-hmm. That's why I think God of War works so well. Because if the people that just come in, they could do the research, cool, but they don't have to do the research. It helps that they don't know who he is. Because then it's like, why are these blades that you have constantly returning to you? That could be a part of the story. Why are you so hesitant to help other people? And as you go on throughout, you could have flashbacks here and there and stuff like that. But as you go on throughout,
have to recreate the game.
Specific scenes though, like they're like the iconic shot of the chains going across him and his, like the wife and the daughter, stuff like that. You don't need to have flashbacks. Like, you could do flashbacks of Zeus. You could do, like, God of War 4 did that. God of War 4 is actually a really good example of how you could do flashbacks, because for the people that didn't play, there was a lot of people, let's be honest, that didn't play the original God of Wars before they played 4. So when we got to, what is it, Helheim? Helheim is the icy place, right? When we saw that big eagle, everyone was like, oh my God, he's talking to Zeus and da-da-da. So people were able to see it and assume, oh, he's talking to his father. And oh, okay, he said it throughout dialogue. We didn't have to see background, anything like that. We know that he killed Zeus. I think that they could go about it the same exact way, and it would benefit. It would lean into the story, as opposed to Game of Thrones, where it's like, you just specifically leave out information because it's too much information. I think that's where the issues come in. And a lot of people might hate me for this.
No, Game of Thrones 100% should have been a game. It should have been a game.
Oh, okay, that would be cool.
It should have been a game.
But okay, but the reason why it could have been a game is because video games, I would say, it just doesn't have the prestige that movies has. Video games are so young, and that's what God of War makes me realize. I wish...
No, with video games, you're able to tell
a much more immersive story.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that we need to start pushing towards, getting rid of the stigma of video games being this thing that's like, I don't know, just for kids. It's the same thing with anime. It's this thing for kids, but it's like, you're wrong because you're missing out on some good stuff. And it makes me feel bad because I haven't been able to play as much video games, but specifically because I know how many hours it takes to finish something. So the way we play God of War is different because I just want the story. But if I didn't just want the story, I got to sit down for like all 80 hours of its content. Yeah, I think that it would work as a TV show, and just the problem is that people have this stigma around video games.
Do not misunderstand it. This is not power of your creation. I deserve it. I was watching where the mom when the bottom of the table.